Good morning, Your Honor. Alan Figueroa, back on the line.
All right, thank you. All right, go ahead and broadcast. Antonio Chavez, 2020 CF 11674. If,
Your Honor, which courtroom at the VRC is the defendant in?
one.
Okay.
You know what, I also have a victim here, so I'm going to ask if you not use the headset today.
Okay, not a problem, Your Honor.
All right. Sir, can you please tell me your name?
Diga su nombre, señor.
Antonio Gusaro Chávez.
Señor, se me acerca el micrófono y me habla más alto, por favor, que no lo escuché. Repita su nombre.
I'm going to appoint a
Antonio
lawyer.
Gusaro Chávez.
Antonio Guzarro Chávez.
I'm going to appoint a lawyer to help you with your case from the Public Defender's Office.
Se le designará un abogado para que lo ayude con su caso, un defensor público.
Ma'am,
Sí.
are you Juana
Sí.
Santiago?
Señor, ¿es usted Juana Santiago?
Sí, yo soy.
Yes, that's me.
And is this your husband?
¿Y es este su esposo?
¿Cómo?
¿Este señor es su esposo?
Sí, es, pero nosotros estamos separados. Yo creo que
¿Quién?
ya tiene como un año que estamos separados.
He is, but we're separated. It's been about a year that we're separated.
Are you afraid of Mr. Chavez?
¿Siente usted temor del señor Chávez?
Sí,
Yes.
And do you know if he was under the influence of any drugs or alcohol when this happened?
¿Sabe usted si él se encontraba bajo los efectos de algún tipo de droga o de alguna bebida alcohólica cuando esto ocurrió?
bueno, él andaba borracho, pues, y cuando llega me empieza a insultar, me agarra y así.
Well, he was drunk, and when he arrived, he started to insult me and he grabbed me.
All right, state or defense counsels, I'll begin with the state, and I also want to add, he also has a second misdemeanor offense of violation of domestic injunction, and I do find PC. State, questions for the victim?
Bien, voy a comenzar con la fiscalía si tiene alguna pregunta para la víctima. Antes de eso, quisiera aclarar que él tiene antecedentes por otra falta por incumplimiento de libertad vigilada. Fiscalía, ¿alguna pregunta para la víctima?
Has there been previous incidences like this in the past?
¿Algún incidente como este ha ocurrido en el pasado, señora?
Sí, muchas
Yes.
veces y me
Many times.
amenaza.
Many times, he's threatened me.
Stay has no further questions.
Defense, any questions for the victim?
No, Your Honor.
La
Defense,
fiscalía
do
no
you-
tiene ninguna pregunta. Defensa no tiene preguntas para la víctima.
Do you want to be heard on release conditions?
We ask that the judge set the release conditions at a reasonable amount.
All right, he's not even entitled to a monetary bond on the felony, but based on the facts of the case, I will set a monetary bond. I'm going to set his bond at $10,000 on the felony, and in the misdemeanor case, $150.
Bien, defensa, algo que opinar con respecto a los términos de libertad. Si su señoría quisiéramos pedir que fije una fianza razonable. Él en sí no tiene derecho a una fianza en el caso del delito, pero dado los hechos del caso, voy a fijar la fianza en $10,000 ante el caso del delito y en $150 ante el caso de la falta.
You're to have no contact with the victim and no return to where she lives, works, or goes.
Señor, se le prohíbe el contacto con la víctima y no puede acercarse a donde ella vive, ni donde trabaja, ni en ningún sitio donde ella se encuentre.
And I'm also ordering that you not possess any weapons.
También se le prohíbe la tenencia de ningún tipo de arma.
You're not to possess, use, or consume any alcohol or any illegal drugs.
Se le prohíbe el consumo de ningún tipo de bebida alcohólica ni de drogas.
Thank you.
Gracias.
Ma'am, do you have any questions for me?
Señora, ¿tiene usted alguna pregunta?
Pues para mí está bien.
It
Gracias
seems-
por ayudarme.
No, it seems fine to me. Thank you for helping me.
Sir, there is an injunction in place. You need to abide by all terms of the injunction, which are pretty much what I said.
Bien, señor, hay una orden de alejamiento en vigor, así que no se puede acercar a ella.
Thank you. Next person is Johanna Medina. Thank you, ma'am. can you tell the litigants that the case is over and they can step out?
Gracias, señora. Se puede retirar y usted, señora, también se puede retirar. Gracias.
Vaya, gracias.
The next person is Johanna Medina, and the name victim is Jose Mondraga. Ma'am, tell me your name.
Johanna
Señora, diga
Rivera,
su nombre.
Johanna Rivera Medina.
Case number
Johanna Rivera Medina.
Case number 2020 MM 7032. Ma'am, you were arrested for battery, domestic violence, and I find probable cause.
Señora, usted fue arrestada por agresión física en violencia doméstica. Determino que existen indicios de criminalidad.
Do you want a lawyer to help you with your case?
¿Desea que se le designe un abogado para que la represente?
Sí.
I'll appoint
Yes.
a public defender. Corrections, any contact with Jose, the victim?
No, Your Honor.
All right, ma'am, I'm going to give you, does she qualify for PTR?
Yes, Your Honor.
Where would you live if you didn't go back to Jose?
Bien, señora, se le designará defensor público para que la represente, ya que no hemos tenido contacto con la víctima José todavía. Señora, si usted queda en libertad, ¿a dónde iría usted a vivir o dónde pudiese vivir que no sea con José?
José no quiso formular cargo con él porque yo llegué de Puerto Rico, yo no tengo dónde quedarme.
I don't know why Jose wanted to press charges against me. I just came back from Puerto Rico.
Él no
I have
formuló
nowhere to
cargo.
stay.
Ma'am, I don't want you to talk
I'm
about
sorry,
the facts of
he
the
didn't
case.
press charges.
I don't want to talk about the facts of the case.
Okay.
Where are you going to live if you can't live with Jose? Do you have a
Señora,
friend
no
or
me diga
family?
no me diga nada sobre los hechos del caso. Si no puede regresar a vivir con José, ¿dónde puede vivir? ¿Con algún amigo, algún familiar?
Me quedaría en un hotel.
I'd stay at a hotel.
Okay. I'll put her on pretrial release, straight, no contact with Jose. You-
Can you do a bond or?
Yeah, I'll do that. I'll do a $100 bond or pretrial release. You pick.
Bien, señora, se fijará la fianza en $100 o se puede emitir la libertad provisional. Usted escoge cuál prefiere.
No contact with Jose.
Se le prohíbe el contacto con José.
You need to live separately.
Debe buscarse otro paradero.
If you need to go back to the house to get some belongings, you have to have a police officer accompany you.
Si necesita regresar a la casa para recoger sus pertenencias, tiene que ir con las autoridades para hacerlo. No puede ir sola.
And you cannot have any weapons.
Y se le prohíbe la tenencia de ningún tipo de arma.
Thank you.
Okay.
Gracias.
The next person is Anthony Luis Rodriguez Quinones. S- 2020 MM 7021. Mr. Rodriguez, you were arrested for battery, dating violence. I'm appointing a lawyer to help you, and I find probable cause.
Señor Rodríguez, usted fue arrestado por agresión física en violencia de género. Se le determinó que existen indicios de criminalidad y le designaré defensor público para que lo represente.
Correcto.
Sir, are you Joshua Rodriguez?
¿Es
Correcto.
usted Joshua Rodríguez?
Answer into the microphone.
Yes, correcto.
Yes.
How do you know Anthony?
¿Cómo conoce usted a Anthony?
Anthony es mi pareja hace 2 años.
Anthony is my partner for 2 years now.
Are you afraid of him?
No.
¿Siente usted temor de él? No.
Do you live together?
Sí.
¿Viven juntos? Yes.
Do you want him to return home?
¿Desea que él regrese a la casa?
Sí.
Yes.
Sir, I'm going to put you on pretrial release. You're to have
Señor,
no
se le-
hostile contact with Joshua.
Señor, se le permitirá la libertad provisional, se le prohíbe el contacto hostil con Joshua.
You're not to take any alcohol or any illegal drugs.
Se le prohíbe consumir ningún tipo de bebida alcohólica ni de ningún tipo de droga.
And you cannot have any weapons.
Y se le prohíbe la tenencia de ningún tipo de arma.
Ok.
Thank you.
Gracias.
State, the next case is Jose Gonzalez Avila, 2020 MM 7026 AO. It's a county court case. Any objection to me making an offer on it? It's going to have BRC time on it. Jail time.
One moment, Your Honor.
And I would reserve on restitution. He has 11 misdemeanor priors, and he was just released in September. That's why it would be a jail offer. Any objection?
No objection from the state.
All right. Mr. Gonzalez, you were
Yes.
arrested for petty theft and resisting officer without violence.
Señor González,
Yes.
usted fue arrestado por hurto de menor cuantía y por desobediencia a la autoridad.
I find probable cause.
Determino que existe indicio de criminalidad.
If you wanted to close out both cases, the offer is an adjudication and 15 days in the county jail total.
Señor, si usted quisiera resolver los casos hoy, la oferta sería emitir un dictamen de culpabilidad y 15 días de cárcel en total.
Yes, yes.
Do you need a lawyer to help you talk about the case?
Necesito a un abogado primero para hablar con respecto al caso.
No.
If you change your mind, let me know. Do you,
Ok.
Si cambia de parecer, avíseme.
Dígale que yo cojo la oferta que ella me da.
I accept the offer.
Okay, let me ask you some questions.
Bien,
Have-
le voy a hacer una serie de
Have you
preguntas.
ever previously been found mentally incompetent?
¿Usted en algún momento ha sido declarado mentalmente incompetente?
No.
No.
And have you taken any drugs, alcohol, medicine, or do you have any health
Atom-
conditions that's affecting your ability to understand what's going on in court?
¿Ha consumido algún tipo de droga, alcohol o medicamento o padece de alguna enfermedad que le prohíbe entender lo que está ocurriendo aquí hoy?
No, estoy completamente consciente.
No, I'm 100% aware and conscious.
If you were on probation when you committed this offense, do you understand your terms of probation would be violated?
Si acaso usted se hubiese encontrado en probatoria cuando ocurrió este ilícito, eso conllevaría el incumplimiento de la probatoria. ¿Lo ha entendido?
Ok.
Ok.
And if you're not a United States citizen, you will be subject to deportation by pleading to this charge.
Y si acaso no fuese ciudadano estadounidense, al aceptar este convenio puede quedar sujeto a deportación.
Ok.
Mr. Gonzalez, if you, at the time of sentencing, I will convict you of the crime of theft.
Señor González, en el momento en que se emita la sentencia, usted será hallado culpable del ilícito de hurto.
Ok.
If you commit a future act of theft, you will be charged with a felony despite the value of the item. It's called an enhancement.
Si usted vuelve a cometer el ilícito de hurto o de robo, la próxima vez sería como un cargo de delito porque es una acusación acumulativa.
Ok.
Ok.
Do you plead guilty, no contest, or not guilty to petty theft?
¿Desea declararse culpable, inocente o no me opongo?
Culpable.
Guilty.
And how do you plead to the charge of resisting officer without violence?
Y ante la acusación de desobediencia a la autoridad, ¿cómo desea declararse?
Guilty?
No guilty. No conta.
No contest.
Okay, did anybody force you to say guilty or no contest?
¿Acaso alguien lo ha obligado a declararse culpable o no me opongo?
No.
No.
You're adjudicated guilty of both charges. I'll sentence you to 15 days in the county jail with credit for 2. No return to Home Depot, and I'll reserve on restitution for 45 days. Sir, you will
Bien, se-
go ahead.
Sorry. Se emitirá un dictamen de culpabilidad, se emitirán 15 días de cárcel acreditándole ya 2 días cumplidos. Señor, se le prohíbe regresar al Home Depot.
Ok.
You have until June 15th of 2021 to pay your court cost and any restitution if it's owed.
Tiene hasta el 15 de junio del 2021 para pagar las costas judiciales y se ordenará y se reservará indemnización. Si se debe alguna indemnización, deberá pagarlo antes de esa fecha también.
Ok.
Thank you.
Oh, gracias.
Madam, excuse me, corrections, is that everything for the interpreters? Is that everything for the interpreters? Yes. All right, go ahead and disconnect, Mr. Interpreter. Thank you. Erlene, I'm sorry, I let him slide. Do you want me to put a sticker so they don't slide into you?
Oh, no,
Okay.
that's fine.
Larry Frederick.
My damn name ain't the same damn thing.
Right here.
My name ain't the same thing.
Mr. Frederick, good morning. You're here in case number 2020 CF
I was blank
11662.
trying to go for no scheduled date. But
Pardon
I hear
me?
what you say. I'm ready to hear you talk.
I know, I haven't seen you in a little while, Mr.
Are
Frederick.
you from China?
Something like that. I'm appointing a public defender to assist you with your case. Due to your competency issues, I'll take no action on your out on bonds. I'll find probable cause on the new cases for battery and law enforcement, resisting officer without violence, and trespass on property. I'll go ahead and stay the bonds, no return. Thank you.
Why don't you stay the bond? What is a bond?
Come on, come on.
State defense, he has a long history of open cases with
And I ain't
him.
getting that. Hold up, now. I ain't doing nothing wrong.
Mr. Hester.
I ain't doing nothing wrong. Hold up. What is a bond like? I'm getting out today or what?
Okay, thank you, Mr. Frederick.
Oh,
They're
I'm
gonna
getting out today or
The
what?
lawyer's gonna come talk to you about when you're getting out, okay?
Hey, this you supposed to find a couple of times when they from booking, bitch. You bullshit. Hey, you silly motherfucker.
Let me know when we're ready. Are we ready? Okay. Are you Mr. Anderson? What's your name, sir?
Will Anderson.
Mr. Anderson, you're here for a charge of battery. I do find that there's probable cause. Do you want a public defender to help you with your case for battery? That's a lawyer? I can't hear you.
Yeah, I guess, yeah.
Okay, I'm going to appoint a public defender. Any contact with Lisa Holmes Corrections?
No, Your Honor.
Okay, based on the facts of this case and your history, I'm going to stay the bond. I'm ordering no contact with the victim, Lisa Holmes, maintain a separate residence, and then possess no weapons. Any weapons that you own need to be surrendered within 6 hours. That'll conclude your case, Mr. Anderson.
Because of the bond.
I'm going to stay the bond. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm setting it at 500. Mario Townsend. Good morning, sir. Mr. Townsend, I was going to release you without having to post any monetary bond, but you need to comply with them asking questions so they know how you can report. Do you not want to do pretrial release? All right. All right. Based on his action and no communication, the PD was appointed. Defense, what do you want to do?
Your Honor, if we're not going to do pre-trial release, then just set a reasonable bond amount.
Okay, based on his above average risk and his failure to comply, I'll do pretrial release or a $250 bond. Thank you. Travis Branton. Are you Travis Branton?
Yes.
Hi. Do you want a lawyer to help you with your case? A public defender?
Yes.
I'm going to appoint a public defender. Sir, you were arrested for battery by strangulation, battery domestic violence, robbery, as well as petty theft. Probable cause has already been found. Based on the facts of the case, on the battery by strangulation, I'm setting bond at $1,000. On the battery, $100. On the robbery, I'll stay the bond, and on the petty theft, I'm going to stay the bond. Sir, I'm going to order that you have no contact with the victim in this case, no return to the scene of the crime, no return to where the victim lives, and you're not to possess any weapons. If you own any weapons, they do need to be surrendered to the police department upon being released from jail. Thank you, sir. And stay in touch with your attorney. John Kelly. Are you Mr. Kelly?
Yes, ma'am.
Mr. Kelly, you're here for a charge of battery by strangulation. I do find that there's probable cause. Corrections, what's the victim say? Do you want a lawyer to help you with your case, Mr. Kelly? That's a public defender. Do you want a lawyer to help you?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, I'm going to appoint a public defender. Corrections, let me know.
She was just notified of court.
Gotta sign it
What?
now.
The victim was contacted and just given court information.
Okay. So based on the facts of this case and the alcohol involved,
Oh, yes,
I'm going to set your bond at $1,000 plus pretrial release. You're to have no contact with Ms. Castillo. You need to maintain a separate residence. You can't go back to where she lives. And I'm also ordering that you not possess, use, or consume any alcohol or any drugs as a condition. Do you have any questions for me?
No, ma'am. I just want to mention one thing, if I'm allowed to. She's facing deportation about 4 days from now, 4 or 5 days from now.
Thank you for that information. Nonetheless, you're to have no contact with her.
Yes, ma'am. I understand.
Joshua Payne. Are you Mr. Payne?
Yes, ma'am.
Mr. Payne, do you want a public defender to help you with your case?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, I'll appoint a public defender. Sir, I find probable cause for both the charges of battery, domestic violence, as well as possession of cocaine. Ma'am, your name, please? Good morning. Can you tell me your name?
Sandra.
Sandra, what's your last name?
Pugh.
And how do you know Mr. Payne?
He's my boyfriend.
Do you live together?
Yes.
Do you want him to return?
Yes.
Are you in fear of him?
I'm sorry?
Are you afraid of him?
No, I'm just afraid when he drinks, he just needs to go to rehab. Something we talked about he's gonna do when he says he gets out.
So, sir, based on the facts of this case, I'm going to put you on pretrial release on both cases, and I'm also going to set a bond of $100 on the battery. So it's $100 plus pretrial release. Sir, you can go back to live with your family, but you're to have no hostile contact with the victim or any other family members. You can't do anything to harm, threaten, scare, or intimidate them. You're not allowed to have any weapons. Those need to be surrendered to the police department. Sir, I'm ordering that you not possess, use, or consume any alcohol or any illegal drugs. If and when drug testing resumes through pretrial release, you will be subject to random drug testing. Do you have any questions?
No, ma'am.
Ma'am? On both cases. Do you have any questions, ma'am?
No, ma'am, not really.
All right, good luck to you, ma'am.
What was the
All right,
bond?
thank you.
$100 on the battery plus pretrial release. On the cocaine, straight pretrial release.
That's a question?
Hold on.
Is
Yes.
that the $100? Who is that paid to?
You can pay a cash bond downstairs, or you can use a bondsman, but it might be better to do cash.
Okay.
Thank you, ma'am. Tyrone Thomas. Are you Tyrone Thomas?
Yes.
Sir, you're arrested for battery by strangulation. Do you want a public defender? That's a lawyer?
Yes.
I'll appoint a public defender to help you with this case. I do find that there's probable cause. Based on your criminal history, I'm going to set bond in the amount of $1,500 plus pretrial release. You're to have no contact with the victim. You need to maintain a separate residence. You cannot contact the victim even for purposes of the child. If you own any weapons, they must be surrendered upon your release. Do you have any questions?
No, ma'am.
All right, good luck to you, ma'am. After that is Roderick Watts. Mr. Watts, you do not make it, you make too much money for the public defender's office. Let me ask you some questions. How much do you earn per week?
Not no telling. I made $10 an hour.
So how many hours do you work?
Basically.
50 hours, 1 hour?
How many hours? I be at a day labor service, so basically I work how many hours they give me. It's all up on me if I go in or not.
Do you support any family members?
No, but the person I was in a relationship with.
Okay. Have you ever had any, give me a second. All right. State, I find probable cause for counts 3, 4, and 5. Sir, you were arrested for aggravated assault, throwing or shooting into an occupied vehicle, carrying a concealed weapon by a convicted felon. I do not find probable cause for counts 1 and 2. State, I will give you until tomorrow to perfect probable cause for that. Specifically, it's not an enumerated offense under the statute. In the meantime, I'll stay the bonds on counts 1 and 2. On count 3, I'll set bond at $2,500. Count 1, $150, and count 3, $2,500. Count 4, $150, count 5, $150. You're to have no contact with any victims or witnesses, Mr. Watts. For purposes of the PC, I'm going to temporarily appoint the public defender. Thank you, sir. Recall, bonds 1 and 2, stay at no bond. State to perfect probable cause. Count 3, $2,500, count 4, $150, and count 5, $150. I'm going to recall this case tomorrow. Jared Bryland?
Breland.
Okay, sorry for mispronouncing that. Is victim Williams present? No response. Mr. Breland, do you want a public defender?
Yes, ma'am.
I'm going to appoint a public defender to help you with this case. Sir, you were arrested for battery. I find probable cause. I'm setting your bond at $1,000 plus pretrial release. Sir, I'm ordering you have no contact with victim William. You need to maintain a separate residence. You're not to possess, use, or consume any alcohol or any illegal drugs, and to possess no weapons. Thank you, Mr. Breland.
You're welcome, ma'am.
The next case up is Davidson Calixte. Sir, tell me your name.
Davidson Menard Calixte.
How often, I'm not sure if you qualify for a public defender. How often are you paid?
I'm sorry?
Okay, I need to ask you about your income. Sometimes people make mistakes on the application for the public defender. How often are you paid? Every week, every 2 weeks, once a month?
Every week.
And what is your take-home pay after taxes?
Yeah, it varies. Sometimes it's $1,500 because I drive truck.
Okay, so
It varies.
that's what you come home with every week?
It varies.
Okay, what's on the low end?
I'm sorry?
How much on the lower end? So is there a range? like-
700 something.
And you support 2 people?
Yes.
So if it was 1,000 with 2 dependents, would he qualify? Okay, you do qualify for a public defender. I'll appoint them to represent you. I find probable cause, sir, for the charge of battery. Is Marie Calixte present? Okay, are you an interstate truck driver or only in Florida?
I'm interstate truck driver.
Defense, do you want straight bond?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, I'm going to set your bond at $1,000. You're to have no contact with your wife. You must live separately. You can't go back to where she lives. I'll give you a one-time return to collect your belongings, but you have to have a police officer. Sir, you're not to possess any weapons while this case is pending. Your attorney can explain what all of this means, and I'll allow you to travel outside of the state for work purposes only. Okay. Thank you.
Sure.
Next person is Rudlin Gonzalez. Is Richard Dolius present? Ma'am, do you want a lawyer from the Public Defender's Office to help you with your case? Yes. I'll appoint a public defender. You were arrested for battery, domestic violence, and I do find that there's probable cause. Based on your lack of history, I'm going to put you on pretrial release. You're to have no contact with the victim of this case, Richard. You need to live separately from him and the kids. I'll allow you to go back to the home just one time to collect your belongings. After that, you can't return and you're not to possess any weapons. Do you have any questions for me?
What about my kids? They live with me.
If your kids, if he wants the kids to live with you, but you can't go back there. Okay, you cannot contact Richard while this case is going on.
No, I don't live here. Me and my kid, we live in Kentucky, so I need my kids so we can go back home.
How did she qualify for PTR? Hold on a second.
You can stay in another state and still qualify for PPI.
Okay. Ma'am, you need to show, when you pick up the kids, you need to show them what your domestic order says on who gets the kids, okay?
You can just place on the order that she can return to Kentucky.
She can return to Kentucky and call into pretrial release.
With the kids?
I don't know what the family law court in Kentucky or anywhere else has said. If I say one thing, I can't tell, I don't know who has custody is what I'm saying. Your attorney can explain that to you. Okay, good luck to you, ma'am. Errol Woodham?
Yes, ma'am. Morning, Judge.
Sir, you were arrested for an offense of battery domestic violence. Do you want a public defender to help you with your case?
Please?
All right, I'll appoint a public defender. You do owe the application fee. Ma'am, tell me your name.
Ebony Sharpless.
And how do you know Mr. Woodham?
He is my boyfriend as well as the son of my father.
Do you live together?
The father of my son.
Okay. Do you live together, ma'am?
Yes, ma'am.
Do you want to continue to live together?
Yes, ma'am.
Are you afraid of him?
No, ma'am.
Okay. Were drugs or alcohol involved?
No, ma'am.
Sir, I'm going to put you on straight pretrial release based on your low risk. You're to have no hostile contact with Ms. Sharpless, and you're not to possess any weapons. Any weapons do need to be surrendered to the police department, but you're being placed on pretrial release. Sir, you do have some drug history, so I'm also ordering that you not possess, use, or consume any illegal drugs. Do you have any questions?
No, ma'am.
All right, good luck to you. Do you have any questions for me, ma'am?
No, ma'am.
All right, good luck to you. Evan Burchin. Okay. Mr. Burchin, do you want a public defender to help you with your case?
Yes, ma'am.
I'm going to appoint a public defender. Sir, you were arrested for possession of drug paraphernalia, carrying a concealed weapon, an unlicensed firearm specifically, and count 3, possession of methamphetamines within 1,000 feet of a school zone. Defense, do you want to be heard?
Yes, Your Honor. We'd like to set the bond at an amount within the defendant's financial means. He's been unemployed for about a year to 2 years.
So what's an affordable bond, defense?
I guess total 500 to 1,000, Your Honor.
I'm going to deny that request. Anything else, defense?
No, Your Honor.
All right, sir, I'm also considering the facts of this case. You were it's alleged that you were selling or just attempting to distribute drugs near a school and with a weapon, both a knife as well as a firearm. And then you also have a case in Seminole County. So there is a hold. You're not going anywhere after you post bond. On count 3, I'll modify the bond to $10,000. On counts 1 and 2, it will be stayed. You're not to possess any weapons. All weapons need to be surrendered to the police department within 6 hours of your release, and you're not to possess, use, or consume any illegal drugs or paraphernalia. That would be a violation. Do you have any questions, sir?
Yes, I just could, in layman terms, what does that mean? I guess to be leaving. I don't know what's going on. Sorry, this is my first time I've ever been here. So
What did you say?
Sorry, I was just trying to figure out. I guess in layman's terms, what does that mean? How do I?
I can't give you any legal advice. That's why you have an attorney. But what I can tell you is even after you post bond, Seminole County is going to try to pick you up.
Okay. Thank you.
What happened to Ariel Adorno? Did she bond?
I don't have her on the document. You still don't have?
Yeah, I have a booking number of 2002 1114.
She bonded.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Sir, what's your name?
Jacoy Bulkis.
I'm sorry, what is it?
Jacoy Bulkis.
Oh, I'm sorry. Sir, you're already out on bond and you missed or release conditions and you missed a court date. For petty theft, you missed your arraignment court date. You do not have an attorney in case number 2020 MM 4839AO. If you would like to resolve that single charge of theft and information has been filed, The offer is an adjudication plus time served and court cost and no return to CVS. Do you want to resolve that single charge of theft?
What do you mean?
Okay, how old are you?
24.
Okay. Here's what I'll do. Do you want a lawyer to help you with your case?
Yeah, I need a lawyer, but I can't afford one right now.
Okay, so I'm going to appoint a public defender. You do qualify. Sir, you were arrested for burglary of a structure as well as criminal mischief, and I do find probable cause. You were also arrested for a second count of criminal mischief in case number 2020 MM 7031. On that case, I'm going to reduce the bond to $100. In both of these cases, you're not to return to CVS. And then you will have an old case for petty theft, and you have a $500 bond. Defense, do you want to talk to him about a time-served adjudication? He does have some history on the petty theft alone.
Yes, Your Honor.
On what? 3,500. 150, and then on the next MM case, I changed it to 100. Do you want me to just enter pleas of not guilty?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, enter pleas of not guilty on everything. Thank you.
Wait, what?
The bond amount is stayed at 500. The next person is Diane Grimes. Ma'am, you were arrested for 2 different cases. In case number 20 MO 97380, you were arrested for disorderly conduct, and I do find probable cause. If you want to plea to that case, the offer is an adjudication plus time served, and you'd be released. Then you have a charge of possession of synthetic cannabinoids. I do find probable cause on that, and I would reduce your bond to $100 on that case. Do you need a public defender to help you in both of these cases?
No, I'm an SSI and I get paid on the 1st, so how does that work? Can I pay it now?
You can pay it within 50 days.
I don't have the money now. I get paid on the 1st, which is Friday.
I can give you time to pay.
Oh, I have time. So do I still go to jail?
You're in
Or do I
jail.
get released?
Okay, do you want a lawyer?
No, I just wanted to get released so I can pay it, but I don't get paid till the 1st. I
Okay,
have
you
to
can
wait
pay a bond?
until I have my money to pay it, yeah.
So if you want to plea to the disorderly conduct, it's a time-served offer. And on the possession of cannabis, cannabinoid, would she qualify for PTR or is she too high risk?
You can qualify.
I'm gonna ROR. Okay, if you plead to the charge of disorderly conduct, I'll release you on your own recognizance, but you do need to appear for future court dates. Do you understand?
Yes, I do.
How do you want a lawyer? Yes or no?
If you think I need
I
one.
can't decide that for you, ma'am. It's
Yeah,
entirely
public defender. I like Aaron. I'm okay with Aaron Zimmerman.
Okay, you
I
can't
trust
pick out
him.
who your public defender is.
Oh, you don't.
I'll appoint a public defender, and you just need to fill out an application. Do you want to go over her plea with her? I don't need a form.
I'd like
Yeah.
to speak with her just to see if she wants to plea.
She said she did, but I'll give you time to talk to her. I'm going to go ahead and,
Thank you.
She'd like to plead, Your Honor.
All right. How do you plead to the charge of disorderly conduct? Guilty, no contest, or not guilty?
I guess guilty, no contest. I don't know what it's called. I admit I panhandled.
Okay.
And I
So
admit I smoked.
if you're going to
pizza.
admit, are you saying that you're
No
guilty?
contest. I'm sorry, ma'am.
Okay. You're
Yeah.
entering a plea of no contest. Has anybody forced you to say no contest?
No.
Ma'am, are you under the influence of any drugs, alcohol, or
No.
medicine that's affecting your ability to understand right now?
No, I'm just not hearing you real well.
Do you understand that if you were on probation when you committed this offense, by entering a plea today, your probation would be violated?
I've never had probation before.
If you were on probation at the time you committed this offense, your probation would be violated. If you weren't, it will make a difference. Do you understand that, ma'am?
Yes.
All right, I'll accept your plea of no contest. I'll withhold adjudication, impose a time-served sentence, pay your court costs by December 1st of 2021, and I'll release you ROR, but you do need to give an updated address for to your lawyer
Okay.
for the possession of cannabinoids. Thank you.
All right. Thank you.
You're
I appreciate
welcome.
it. Thank you.
Ramon Harris. Are you Mr. Harris? Sir, I'm going to appoint a public defender to help you on your, do you want a public defender for your possession of MDMA case? Your new arrest?
Yeah, I did.
Do you want a lawyer, sir? Yes or no?
Yes.
I'll appoint a public defender. He needs to fill out an application. I do find probable cause on the possession of MDMA. I'm going to stay the bond at $1,500. He already has PDs in other open cases. In 2020 CF 5650AO, he has a pretrial conference for a charge of petty theft with 2 priors. I'm revoking his release and holding him at no bond. In case number 2020 CF 9646, he has an arraignment and an information has been filed. His arraignment is set for November 9th. We'll keep that date. I'm revoking his release and holding him at no bond.
So I had no bond on.
One of the conditions of being on bond, as you know, is not to commit any new law violations. Good luck to you, sir. What's your name?
Ronnie.
What's your last name?
Hart.
Do you want a public defender to help you with your case?
Ma'am.
Do you want a public defender to help you with your case? That's a lawyer?
Yeah, please.
I'll appoint a public defender to help you with your case. Sir, I find probable cause for the basis for your arrest for possession of paraphernalia, possession of cocaine, possession of methamphetamines with intent or sell to deliver, controlled substance without a prescription, as well as possession of marijuana less than 20 grams. Defense counsel, usually count 3 bond. There's a bond correction of $15,000, 15000. He is on probation. I'm going to do some modification and reduce that to set bond at $7,500.
Thank you, Your Honor.
And where is he on probation? Anybody know? Orange County?
Yeah. Believe.
Yes, Your Honor. Orange County.
Orange County? Do you have a case number for me?
1915727.
I'm sorry, 191,
5727.
and that's a C at 191.
5727, that's Orange County?
Yes. I'm gonna look it up on you.
Maybe it's 19 CF 15727. All right, Mr. Hott, based on the fact that you were placed on probation back in June, I'm going to do an on-view violation of probation. I do have probable cause. You'll be held at no bond in case number 19 CF 15727. Your attorney can explain to you what that means. Thank you, sir. Angela Hawcroft?
Yes, ma'am.
Do you want a lawyer from the Public Defender's Office to help you with your case?
Yes, ma'am.
I'll go ahead and appoint a public defender to assist you. You were arrested for grand theft motor vehicle. I find probable cause. I'll stay the bond at $1,000, no contact with the victim. Good luck to you. Michael Thomas Kramer?
Yes, ma'am.
Mr. Kramer, good morning.
Good morning
Yeah,
to
good
you.
morning still. It's 2020 CF 11654. That's your case number. Do you want a public defender to help you with your case?
Yes, Judge, I would like a public defender.
I'll go ahead and appoint a public defender. You were arrested and I find probable cause for petty theft with 2 prior convictions. Sir, I'm going to stay the bond at $1,000 and no return to the Walmart. Good luck to you, sir.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. Sir, what's your name?
Christian Goldman.
All right, sir, you were arrested in case number 2020 CF 116518 for another charge of driving with license suspended as a habitual traffic offender. I'll appoint a public defender. I'll modify your bond to $1,000 plus pretrial release. Now, sir, you also have a pending case. You just got out of jail in case number 2020 CF 119180. One of the conditions is that you commit no new law violations. Based on that, I'm revoking your release and holding you at no bond. Thank you, sir. Even if you post the bond, you're not going anywhere because you have no bond on your case from September 16th.
So I'm not able to go home now?
No,
Get
sir.
pretrial?
No, I'm not putting you on straight pretrial. Thank you. What's your name, please?
Victor Rodriguez.
Okay, give me one moment. Corrections, what happened on inmate number 2002-1129? Defendant is Perez Luca. Did defendant bond?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, thank you. Sorry for the wait, Mr. Rodriguez. Mr. Rodriguez, I'm not sure if you qualify for a public defender, so let me ask you some questions.
Yes, Your Honor.
Do you work?
Yes, Your Honor.
And what is your actual take-home pay?
I work on commission, Your Honor. So my take-home pay every week is $500, and then on top of that, I can make commission if I have sales. So and that averages anywhere between $500 to $1,000 per month in commission.
And do you
sales.
support anybody?
No, Your Honor, I don't.
So you make too much money to qualify for a public defender.
That's fine, Your Honor. I'll find a private counsel.
And then you also have a case set for December. That case number is 2018 CF 8346 for grand theft
Yes, Your Honor.
and 2 counts of forgery.
Yes,
On
Your
that case, I'm going to revoke your release.
Your Honor, I'm on pretrial diversion on that case.
Yeah,
And
well,
I've
I'm now
met
gonna,
and I've met all the terms and conditions of that case.
okay, well, one of the terms and conditions is that you commit no new law violations. Let me double check that.
Yes, Your Honor. I'm pretty sure that it doesn't have.
You
any
may not want to
stipulations.
say anything else.
Yes, Your Honor.
Because, again, it's a condition that you not. Sir, you were recently arrested just yesterday for battery on a law enforcement officer, assault on a law enforcement officer, and resisting officer without violence. I do want to remind you that your statements are being recorded and can be used against you, so it may not be in your best interest to say anything until you have your attorney with you. Sir, I am revoking your release on your pretrial intervention cases and holding you at new bond. Consult with your attorney. Thank you. Marie Sama?
Yes, ma'am. Did you leave the bonds the same?
Yes, I state everything. Ma'am, you're here for a charge of driving with license suspended with knowledge. That's the case where you're already out on bond. I'm going to take no action on that, but you're also here in case number 2020 CF 11648. I'll appoint a public defender to help you with the case. You were arrested for a charge of possession of cocaine with intent to sell or deliver, possession of MDMA, possession of fentanyl, alprazolam, and tetrahydrocannabinoid oils. Ma'am, based on your recent history, anything from defense?
Defense asks that you set the bond at a reasonable amount, Your Honor.
Anything else, defense?
No, Your Honor.
Okay, based on the fact that she's already out on bond on something else, on count one, I'll modify it to $10,000. That's a $5,000 reduction. With a condition, I'll stay all the remaining bonds. The condition is that you not possess, use, or consume any alcohol or illegal drugs, or have any paraphernalia, and no contact with the co-defendant. Gina Reed. Thank you. Oh, thank you. I missed one? Oh, thank you. Cole Scraper.
Yes, ma'am.
Mr. Scraper, you already have a public defender in some of your other cases. That's 2020 CF 7869 and 2020 MM 681 AW. In both of those cases, and let me talk about your new case, that's 2020 CF 11655. Is $750 your weekly take-home pay?
Yes.
Okay, you now make too much money to qualify for a public defender. So I do find probable cause in the new arrest for possession of hydrocodone, methamphetamine, drug paraphernalia, lorazepam, and petty theft. I'm ordering no return to the scene of the crime, and I'll stay all of those bonds. So your total bond is $1,500. Defense, do you want to be heard on the out on bonds?
Yes, Your Honor. Can we reduce the bond to a reasonable amount?
Okay, so you're not on the new case. I'm staying those bonds. He's out on bond on 2 cases that your office represents him on. Do you want to be heard on those cases?
The previous cases, Your Honor?
Yes, sir.
We ask that, defense asks that you not revoke bond on those cases, Your Honor.
What says the state?
The state would ask the court to revoke his bond.
All right, I'm going to revoke his release in the felony case, CF 7869. State, and Mr. Scraper, you had a case from Target that occurred on August 7th. Do you want me to do your arraignment now so you don't, it could be said a little bit quicker?
Yes, I assume yes.
I'm going to arraign you on the petty theft of, Sir, it's alleged that you committed an offense of petty theft on or about August 7th from Target. Sir, if you would like to resolve that case, the offer is an adjudication, time served, and court cost. Court cost would be $279, and I'd give you until June to pay that. Sir, if you want to resolve that case with an attorney, I can appoint a public defender. If you want to just do it on your own, you let me know.
I can pay it.
Okay. So how do you plead to the charge of petty theft? Guilty, no contest, or not guilty?
No contest?
And has anybody forced you to say no contest?
No, ma'am.
Are you under the influence of any drugs, alcohol, or medication that's affecting your ability to understand what's going on?
No, ma'am.
And sir, what's the highest grade that you finished in school?
I finished high school with some trade school.
Okay. And if you were on probation when you committed this offense, do you understand your terms of probation would be violated?
Yes, but I wasn't.
And if you're not a United States citizen, you'd be subject to deportation?
Yes.
All right, Mr. Scraper, so that petty theft case is now closed. That's the one from August. I'll adjudicate you guilty, impose a time-served sentence, plus court cost. I'll give you until June 15th to make payment on that. You
Okay.
have 30 days to appeal the judgment and sentence. Sir, I do want to remind you that you have been convicted. If you commit a future act of theft, you could be charged with a felony. You'll see a judge for your other felony court dates. Thank
All
you.
right. So do I have my bond?
No,
for-
I revoked your bond from your case in July. So you're at no bond from July. You have a public defender. They can explain that to you. Okay, sir? Does that
Okay.
help?
So I can't bond out.
You cannot bond out on your July felony case. Even if you give the bond money for your arrest yesterday, you're still going to be locked in because of the other case. Thank you, Mr. Scraper. Carmen, I'm going to take this case. Does he need? Can you approach? What's your name?
Richard Turner.
Mr. Turner, you're here for a charge of possession of MDMA. I'll appoint a public defender to help you with your case. Sir, do you want pretrial release with testing or straight monetary bond?
Pre-trial release.
Okay, I do find that there's probable cause. I'll put you on pretrial release with the condition of no alcohol or illegal drugs. Thank you, sir. Are UA1 available? Okay. All right, what's your name, please?
Stephon Watts.
Mr. Watts, you qualify for a public defender. I'm going to appoint them in all of your cases. In case number 2019 CF 16888, you missed your court date for possession of a controlled substance. You do have a bond of $1,500.
Okay.
You also were arrested for possession of cocaine. I do find probable cause. I'm going to stay that bond at $1,000. You
Okay.
can appoint a PD.
So I can bond out?
Yes, you can.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
You said a bond on the fair?
What?
The first appearance detainer. Did you set a?
He's out on bond. I'm going to put, but doesn't he have a bond of $1,500?
On the fair, the 2019 case?
Hold on, let me check that. Yes.
No, Your Honor.
Oh, is it a no bond?
Yes.
I'm sorry, sir. I made a mistake, but I'm appointing a public defender. In case number 2019 CF 16888AO, you missed your court date, so you're being held at no bond. I'll stay that bond.
Oh, so I
You
don't have a
cannot
bond.
bond out.
You revoke?
Yes. Medina.
He's medical, Your Honor.
Okay, reset to within 24 hours of medical clearance, and I'll appoint.
He's under the respiratory precautions, so I think he's gonna be probably the quarantine for the 14 days.
Okay, I'll appoint a public defender and find probable cause and stay the bond at $500.
Mr. Quan Charles refused, Your Honor, to come to court.
Okay, what about Jesse Scott, inmate 2002-1130? Did he bond?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, thank you. Daquan Charles?
Refused, Your Honor.
I'm going to go ahead and enter a plea of not guilty. I'm familiar with Daquan Charles. I'll take no action on all the out on bonds. On the new case for petty theft, I find probable cause, appoint a public defender, and enter plea of not guilty. Sir, what's your name?
Terrell Cook.
Hi, Mr. Cook. Mr. Cook, he already has a public defender. I'll appoint a public defender in case number 2020 MM 839AW. I'll put him on ROR pending competency evaluations. And in case number 18 CF 9050AO, I'll take no further action. Robert Culver.
Yes, Your Honor.
Good morning, Mr. Culver. You were arrested for a charge of trespass on property, the in-town suites. I've looked at your criminal history. Sir, if you want to resolve this case today, the offer is an adjudication plus time served of 2 days, you would be released today, and you'd have to pay your court costs and not return to in-town suites.
Yes, ma'am.
Mr.
Yes,
Culver,
ma'am.
do you want a public defender?
If we can resolve it today, Your Honor, I don't need one, is that correct?
That's correct.
I
It's
would like,
entirely up to you. How about I ask you the questions? If you change your mind and you want a public defender, you let me know.
yes, Your Honor.
How do you plead to the charge of trespass on property after warning? Guilty, no contest, or not guilty?
No contest, Your Honor.
Did anybody force you to say no contest?
No, Your Honor.
And do you understand what no contest means?
Yes, Your Honor.
Sir, have you consumed any drugs, alcohol, or medicine that's affecting your ability to understand what's going on?
No, Your Honor.
Mr. Culver, give me a moment. Sir, do you understand that if you were on probation at the time you committed this offense, by entering a plea today, your terms of probation would be violated?
Yes, Your Honor.
And if you're not a United States citizen, you will be subject to deportation by pleading to this charge.
Yes, Your Honor.
Sir, if you have a criminal history of doing anything sexually violent or anything sexually motivated, under the laws of the state, you would be civilly committed. Do you understand that?
Yes, Your Honor.
Sir, do you need any more time to talk to an attorney before I sentence you?
No, Your Honor.
At this time, I'll find that you've waived your right to an attorney. You entered a plea of no contest. Sir, you're being convicted. I'm sentencing you to time served, no return to the in-town suites, no contact with that witness, and pay your court costs by June 15th of 2021. Do you have any questions?
No, Your Honor.
Sir, you have 30 days to appeal the judgment and sentence. If you can't afford an attorney, one would be appointed to represent you.
Yes, Your Honor.
Thank you. Next person is Megan Lynn Hester Vellebos. Did she bond?
You have a booking number for me, Your Honor?
2002-1128.
Yes, Your Honor.
She bonded?
Yes.
Give me a moment. The next person is Craig Yulee. Is that you, sir?
Yes.
Mr. Yulee, you're here for a charge of petty theft, it's a misdemeanor offense. If you would like to state, let me know if there's an objection to this offer. Based on your criminal history, the offer is an adjudication, 4 days in the county jail with credit for 2 days' time served. That means you'd be released tomorrow. Do you want a public defender to help you with the case?
No.
State, any objection to that?
The state would object based on the defendant's history.
What would your grounds be for enhancement? Because I can take pleas at first appearance. What would your offer be or recommendation in the alternative? I don't see any basis for an enhancement. I could be wrong.
No, I believe you're correct, Your Honor. He has
Okay.
prior thefts, but they were no billed or dropped.
Okay. So the offer is a 4-day offer. You have credit for 2. You'd be released tomorrow. Sir, do you want a lawyer to help you with your case?
No. I mean, yes.
You do want a public defender?
Well, if I'm gonna get released tomorrow, why I need a public defender?
It's entirely up to you. Some people want an attorney, some people don't.
No, I'm good.
So you don't want an attorney? If you change your mind, you let me know. How about that?
Yeah.
How do you plead to the charge of petty theft? Guilty, no contest, or not guilty?
No contest.
Do you know what no contest means?
Yes.
Did anybody force you to say no contest?
No.
Sir, have you taken any drugs, alcohol, or medication that's affecting your ability to understand what's going on right now?
No.
And what's the highest grade that you finished in school?
12.
Sir, if you were on probation at the time you committed this offense, by entering a plea today, your terms of probation would be violated. Do you understand that?
Yeah.
If you're not a United States citizen, you will be subject to deportation. I need to hear you.
Yeah.
Do you need any more time to talk to a lawyer about your plea?
No.
All right, sir, I'm going to accept your plea of no contest. I also find that you gave up your right to an attorney. I'll sentence you to 4 days with credit for 2 days, and you are being convicted. Sir, I do need to remind you that theft is enhanceable. If you commit a future act of theft, despite what you steal, you could be charged with a felony. That's called an enhancement. I'll reserve on restitution for 45 days, and you cannot go back to Circle K. Do you understand that?
Yeah.
You owe court cost around $300. You can pay that by June 15th of 2021. Good luck to you, sir. We'll get some fingerprints.
So I go home tomorrow?
Yes, sir, you'll be released tomorrow. Sir, what's your name?
Sadino Martino.
Well, Omari Landry refused, Your Honor.
Okay, hold on just a moment. Omari Landry refused. I'll go ahead and appoint a public defender in 2020 MM 7029AO. Stay that bond at $250, finding probable cause. In case number 2020 MM 6209AO, he already has a PD. I'm revoking his release and holding him at no bond. I'm sorry, what was your name again?
Oh, okay. Sadino Martino.
Mr. Martino, you were arrested in case number 2020 MM 7025AO. I'm going to appoint a lawyer to help you with the charge, and I find probable cause for the offense of battery. Sir, I'm going to stay the bond at $500. Wait, was the victim noticed on this case? It is domestic. Or prior dating?
No victim was notified.
Okay. I'm ordering that you have no contact with Miss Garrett. You're not to return to where she lives, works, or is known to frequent. You're not to have any weapons. If you do own any weapons, they do need to be surrendered to the police department within 6 hours of your release from jail. I'm going to stay the bond at $500. I'm also going to add a condition of pretrial release, Mr. Martino. Good luck to you. After that is Westbrook Cruz.
He's hospital, Your Honor.
All right, I'll appoint a public defender to help him with his cases, and I will reset to within 24 hours after his release from the hospital. And in the meantime, I do find probable cause for all of the cases. What's your name, sir?
Kurt Frederick Bierman.
Mr. Bierman, you're here for a charge of panhandling, soliciting without permit, and I do find probable cause. Sir, if you would like to resolve your case today, the offer is an adjudication, time served, you'd be released today. Mr. Berman, do you want a public defender to help you with your case?
No, ma'am. I'll resolve the case today.
Okay, I'm going to do your plea. If you change your mind and you want a lawyer, you let me know. Have you consumed any drugs, alcohol, medicine, or do you have any health conditions that's affecting your ability to understand what's going on now?
No, I haven't, ma'am.
I'm sorry, I can't hear you.
No, I haven't.
And what's the highest grade that you've completed in school?
12.
How do you plead to the charge of soliciting without permit? Guilty, no contest, or not guilty?
No contest.
And no contest means you're not admitting or denying the charge. You just feel it's in your best interest to finish your case. Is that what you want to do?
Yes, ma'am.
Excuse me. Sir, do you understand that if you're not a United States citizen, you will be subject to deportation by pleading to this charge?
Yes, ma'am.
Do you also understand that if you were on probation, Mr. Bierman, your terms of probation would be violated by pleading?
Yes, ma'am.
If you have a criminal history of doing anything sexually violent or anything sexually motivated, under the laws of the state, you would be civilly committed. Do you understand that too?
Yes.
And do you need any more time to talk to a lawyer?
No.
All right, I'll accept your plea of no contest. You're adjudicated guilty. I'll impose a time-served sentence. You'll be released today. Pay your court costs by June 15th of 2020. Do you understand that?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, thank you. Your case is over. I'm sorry, 2021.
Who will refuse,
Okay, Hoover refused. Let me see what's going on with this felony. Okay, he has a is Robert Williams with your office?
What's the name, Your Honor?
Robert Williams?
Yes, he is in our office,
Okay.
yes.
On case number 2020 CF 11090AO, I'll take no action. He'll remain ROR. And in case number 2020 MO 972AO, I'll reduce the bond to $100. I'll find that his appearance is waived. What about Ronnie Hott?
You have a booking number?
Oh, he's medical?
Do you have a booking number?
What? Oh, inmate number 200-21072.
Oh, I come a lot of numbers. Hold on. 2002.
202-1072. Does that make sense? Hold it here. Good morning, Osceola. This is Judge Bigney. If you can go ahead and let's start addressing your cases.
Good morning, Your Honor.
Can I get appearances for the state and the state's office and the Osceola?
Paul Kahn for the state.
Mary Ibrahim for the defense.
All right, thank
And
you.
Officer Pat Hill on behalf of PTR.
All right. The face sheets with it. Oh, corrections. Oh, can I have the face sheets for Osceola? Oh, no, I'll be fine. No, I got it, actually. I figured it out. I know what I signed. All right, pass on that request. All right, the first person I'm calling is Brianna Albayo. After that, it's Fanny Kahina. Ma'am, are you Brianna Albello?
Yes, ma'am.
Do you want a public defender to help you with your case?
Yes, ma'am.
I'll appoint a public defender, fill out an application if you haven't done so already. Corrections or pretrial release, have you heard from Ileana, the mother?
No, Your Honor. We did attempt contact. A message was left. We did not hear from her. And for the record, Ms. Brianna Avila has no prior history of any kind of arrest.
Does she qualify for pretrial release?
Not direct, but with a low monetary bond.
All right, I'm going to do a bond of $100 plus pretrial release. Ms. Avila, you're to have no contact with your mother, and you need to maintain a separate residence. You're not allowed to have any weapons. I'll also do a one-time return as long as you're accompanied by a police officer. Your lawyer can explain that to you. Do you have any questions for me? No response. All right, thank you. The next person is Fanny Kahina.
She said yes, Your Honor, or were you unable to hear her?
I was not able to hear her. Thank you for letting me know. Next person is Fanny Kahina, and after that is Tajay Chin. Are you Miss Kahina?
Yes, ma'am.
Miss Kahina, you're here for a charge of battery. I do find that there's probable cause. I'm going to appoint a public defender. Pretrial release, have you heard from victim Antonio Moroya?
Yes, Your Honor, and he is requesting non-hostile contact. Also, for the record, she has no Florida priors. She had a petty theft charge in 1992 out of California.
So he has no objection to her returning to cohabitate?
That's correct.
All right, ma'am, I'm going to set your, does she qualify for PTR?
Not without a monetary bond.
I'll do a $100 bond plus pretrial release. And you're to have no hostile contact with your husband, and you're not to possess any weapons. If you have weapons, they need to be surrendered to law enforcement before you move back, at the time you move back in. Ma'am, do you have any questions for me?
Yeah, I don't take, I take my pill and my mind is.
Okay. Go ahead and take your medication, but no illegal drugs, okay?
I understand. Well,
I'm sorry, defense, what did she say?
she was just verifying her bond, Your Honor.
All right, thank you. The next person is Tajay Shin. After Tajay Shin is Viviana Correa Fernandez. Sir, are you Mr. Shin?
Yes, ma'am.
Do you want a public defender to help you with your case?
Yes, please.
I find probable cause for both of the offenses of battery and preventing communication with law enforcement. Pretrial release, have you heard from Haley Mondin?
No, Your Honor, and I would like to, for the record, he has no adult history.
All right, but he does have juvenile history?
He has a possession of marijuana in 2012, a possession of paraphernalia in 2013, and a battery in 2014. Unknown dispositions on those.
All right, defense, do you want to be heard on release?
We would just be asking that he gets a bond in a reasonable amount.
Sure.
And
On count 2, the felony, I'm going to set bond at $2,000. On count 1, the battery, I'll set the bond at $100. Mr. Chin, you are to have no contact with Haley, the victim of this case. If you own any weapons, you're not allowed to right now. They need to be surrendered to the police department within 6 hours of your release. You need to live separately from Haley. I'll allow a one-time return as long as you're accompanied by a police officer. Sir, do you have any questions for me?
No, ma'am.
All right, thank you, sir. Good luck to you. Viviana Correa Fernandez, followed by John Hortus.
Same with her.
Ma'am, your name, please?
Viviana Correa Fernandez.
Ma'am, do you want a public defender to help you with your charge for battery?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, I'll appoint a public defender. I do find probable cause. Pretrial release, have you heard from Miguel?
No, Your Honor. For the record, she has no priors.
All right. Ma'am, do you know where you're going to live if you don't live with Miguel?
Yes, I do know.
Okay.
I live with my mom.
All right, I'm going to do straight pretrial release, no contact with Miguel, must maintain a separate residence, possess no weapons, and I'll do a one-time return as long as you're accompanied by a police officer. Your attorney can explain all that to you. Do you have any questions for me?
No, ma'am. Thank you. Your Honor, due to the domestic charge, she does not qualify for direct, but she would qualify for a low monetary.
I'll set a $1 bond if she has no history.
Is that plus PTR?
$1 bond plus pretrial release. John Huertas. After Mr. Huertas, the next person is Gerald Irving.
PTR.
Okay, sir, what's your name?
John Huertas.
All right, sir, you're here for a charge of battery. Do you want a public defender to help you with your case?
Yes.
All right, I'll go ahead and appoint a public defender to assist you. Pretrial release, what's his history?
Okay.
He has an egg assault on a Leo conviction in 2017, trespassing conviction in 2017, followed by a violation of probation, which he completed successfully in January of this year.
All right, sir, based on your recent criminal history and the facts of this case, again, I am appointing a public defender to assist you, and I find probable cause for the charge of battery. Here are your release conditions. Based on your recent criminal history, I do have and the facts of this case, I do have the authority to increase the bond. I'm setting your bond at $1,500 plus pretrial release. Sir, you're not to have any contact with any person under the age of 18. You're not to own any weapons. If you do, they need to be surrendered to the police department within 6 hours of your release, and no return to the scene of the crime, which is the flea market. All right, thank you, sir. Gerald Irving. Following Mr. Irving is Charles King.
Mr. Irving is in medical detoxing.
All right, I'll go ahead and appoint the public defender. I do find probable cause. Stay the bond reset to within 24 hours after medical clearance. Charles King. After Charles King is Justin Lapp. Good morning, are you Mr. King?
PC challenge for this case?
I'm sorry, what?
I apologize. We have a PC challenge for this case.
Okay, Charles King, go ahead.
Your Honor, we would be arguing that there's nothing in the four corners of the document that indicates that the officer had checked to see if Mr. King had a valid license or not. Basically, he was arrested off of his testimony alone.
Okay, so you're raising, a corpus challenge?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, he was behind the wheel. What says the state?
One moment, Your Honor. According to the arrest affidavit, while the law enforcement was conducting an investigation, it said that the defendant had admitted that his DL was suspended.
All right, I'm going to overrule the objection from the defense. I'll go ahead and find probable cause corrections. What's his history?
He does have lengthy history, including 34 priors from 1993 to 2013, 17 misdemeanor convictions, 5 felony convictions, 6 DOC terms. The most recent is 2017 conviction of petty theft. He was also arrested in 2017 for an out-of-state fugitive. He has an active warrant out of Michigan. However, they're not willing to extradite.
All right, thank you. Based on the facts of this case, I'm staying the bond plus adding pretrial release. Thank you, Mr. King.
What is that, ma'am?
Your attorney can explain to you what pretrial release is. You'll need to do monthly call-ins or reporting.
I think he was asking what the amount was.
Oh, I stayed the bond, so it's 500 plus pretrial release based on his current KP warrant.
And Your Honor, due to the legal constraint, he does not qualify for PTR.
Okay, I'm going to do
even with the bond.
court-ordered pretrial release. Thank you.
Yes, Your Honor.
The next person I'm addressing is Justin Lopp. After that is Furman Quintero Broco. Sir, what is your name?
Justin Love.
Corrections, I'm not sure. This is a non-domestic. Is that correct?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay. I'm going to find, do you want a public defender to help you with your case?
Yeah.
What did he say?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, sir, I'm going to appoint a public defender. I will find probable cause. I'll stay the bond. I'm going to order no contact with the victim of this case, Mr. Cummings, and no weapons. Thank you. Your bond is stayed at $500.
I can't get RR.
No, I'm going to deny your request for ROR. The next person is Furman Quintero Broco. After that is Ileana Saldana. Furman Quintero?
Your Honor, may we just request for Mr. Justin Lute's reduction in bond?
What's the basis? Switch out then. I need Mr. Lopp up at the podium so I can hear him.
I apologize. Can we swap? I think for financial reasons, he's unable to afford $500 or even $100 bond to be released.
And you want to explain something? That's his name?
Talking to the microphone, sir.
Okay, I have a thing, like I'm going to a work program on Tuesday, and if I stay here, I have to miss it for another month. That's the whole point of me trying to get better in my situation. So if I miss that, then I have to wait another month without money.
All right, corrections, what's his history?
He has no convictions in the state of Florida. He does have older history out of Pennsylvania, which was the most recent 2016.
All right, thank you. How long have you lived in Florida?
I lived in Florida for 3 years.
I'm sorry, I can't hear you.
3 years, 3.5 years.
Do you work?
Well, that's what I'm going to do on Tuesday. Like, due to the situation of COVID, I work when I can, but this is like solidified work. Getting
All right, I'll
stationary.
modify bond to $100. Sir, you have very lack of ties to the community. Thank you. Furman Quintero Broco. After Mr. Broco is Ileana Saldana. I'm moving on to Furman Quintero Broco. If he needs to conference with you, he can do it after court. Good morning. Are you Furman Quintero?
Sí.
Do you need a Spanish interpreter? Does he need a Spanish interpreter?
Yes, Your Honor. We have two that need a Spanish interpreter.
Okay, do I do it? Okay, I'm gonna have. Who else needs a Spanish interpreter? Corrections.
The next one, Ileana Saldana.
No, I'm sorry. It's Sienna Morales, Your Honor.
Good morning, Your Honor. This is Alan Figueroa, Assistant Vice Master Interpreter.
Mr. Figueroa, have you been sworn in?
Not yet.
Raise your right hand. Do you solemnly swear to interpret from English to Spanish and Spanish to English to the best of your abilities, so help you God?
I do, Alan Figueroa, Assistant Vice Master Interpreter.
Okay, I'm handling Osceola County case 490-215-9023. I'm sorry, strike that. 20-6694. Can you please ask him his name?
Su nombre, por favor.
¿Cómo dije?
Su nombre.
Edwin Quintero.
Edwin Quintero.
Is your name also Furman Quintero Broco?
Fermin Quintero Broco.
Fermin Quintero Broco.
Yes.
Sir, you were arrested for possession of cocaine and possession of drug paraphernalia. Do you want a defense attorney to help you with your case?
Señor, usted fue arrestado por tenencia de cocaína y tenencia de adminículos de droga. ¿Desea que se le designe un defensor público para que lo represente?
No entendí nada, mi hermano.
Fue arrestado por tenencia de cocaína y tenencia de adminículos de droga. ¿Desea que se le designe un defensor público para que lo represente?
Yo no tenía ninguna cocaína, era un algodón mojado. Ahí no hay cocaína, eso estaba mojado.
I didn't have any cocaine. There was no cocaine. It was just a piece of cotton. There was no cocaine there. It was just a wet piece of cotton.
Do you want a lawyer to help you with your case?
¿Desea usted que se le designe un abogado, señor, para que lo ayude con su caso?
¿Cómo?
¿Desea que se le designe un abogado para que lo ayude con su caso?
Si quiere, pero ahí no había cocaína ninguna, bro.
Your Honor, if we could have the interpreter please explain to the defendant that he should not be talking about the facts of the case. We didn't have anybody here to interpret that to him.
Go ahead.
Señor, su abogado le está diciendo que no diga nada con respecto a su caso.
¿Cómo?
Que no diga nada con respecto a su caso.
No tengo nada. No.
All right, I'm based on English being unfamiliar. I'm going to appoint a public defender to assist him. That's a lawyer, Mr. Quintero.
Señor Quintero, le voy a designar un defensor público, un abogado para que lo ayude.
Yo no te oigo. No lo digo muy bien aquí, hermano.
Le voy a designar un defensor público, un abogado para que lo asista.
Está bien.
Okay.
All right. Corrections, what's his history? And
He has extensive.
Is it extensive?
Yes, it is extensive. He also has an immigration warrant for removal.
Okay, and I'm going to go ahead and stay the bonds in this case after finding probable cause. Thank you.
Bien, ya que él tiene antecedentes y que tiene una orden de retención de parte de inmigración, yo voy a mantener la fianza hasta el cual se había fijado en este caso.
Ya, me da lo mismo.
Yeah, we're good.
All right, can you call the next corrections? Let me know who needs a Spanish interpreter next.
Sierra Morales.
That would be Jacqueline Sierra Morales.
All right, thank you. Mr. Interpreter, I'm not familiar with the case numbers on these, so I'm showing that this is 4902159025. Ma'am, please tell me your name.
Diga su nombre, señora.
Jacqueline Sierra.
Jacqueline Sierra.
Miss Sierra, you're here for a charge of petty theft.
Señora Sierra se encuentra aquí por la acusación de hurto de menor cuantía.
Will you, I'm going to appoint a lawyer to help you with your case.
Se le designará al defensor público para que la represente en su caso.
Jacqueline Sierra Morales. Can you afford a bond of $500?
¿Puede permitirse una fianza de $500, señora?
Perdón.
¿Puede permitirse una fianza de $500?
Sí.
Yes.
Does she have any history corrections?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay.
She is currently out on state probation for
All
a
right.
resisting officer without violence.
Then I'll stay the bond on this case. Thank you.
Dado que tiene historial, se mantendrán las fianzas tal cual se habían fijado.
The next, anybody else need a Spanish interpreter?
No, Your Honor.
All right, thank you. Mr. Interpreter, I'll call you back for the Orange County court cases.
No problem.
Thank you. Ileana Saldana. After that, it's going to be Quinones Swan. Are you Miss Saldana?
Yes, ma'am.
Miss Saldana, good morning. You're here for a charge of battery pursuant to an arrest warrant. Do you already have a public defender or a lawyer helping you with your case?
No.
Do you want a public defender?
Yes, please.
All right, so you are entitled to a monetary bond on this misdemeanor warrant, so probable cause has been found for the charge of battery. State, can I have a factual basis on this so I can set bond? And in the meantime, corrections, have you been in contact with the attorney? The victim?
No, Your Honor.
Does the defendant have any priors?
She had a 2019 resisting without, but that was an adjudication withheld. Nothing other than that.
State, do you have access to Osceola?
Yes, Your Honor. I'm just glancing over real quick. On August 26, 2020, the victim, Jessica, is the defendant's mother. Victim stated she arrived home from work and saw both. I believe there's co-defendants, so Ileana Saldana. Victim tried to intervene.
Was the victim struck, injured?
Yes. The defendant had pulled on the victim's hair.
Okay. So, Ms. Saldana, based on the facts of this case, you are entitled to bond. I'm going to set your bond at $500 plus pretrial release. Ma'am, you are to have no contact with your mom, the victim of this case. You need to maintain a separate residence. You can't live where she's living. I'll allow you to have a one-time return as long as you're accompanied by a police officer, and finally, no weapons. Thank you, Ms. Saldana.
Thank you.
Jose Alfonso Swan.
He's not able to attend, Your Honor, due to mental health status.
All right, based on mental health, I'll go ahead and enter a plea of not guilty, and I'll appoint a public defender to assist him.
Your Honor, would he be getting bond on this case?
He does have a bond already. I'll stay the
How much
bonds at
staying at?
$5,250 for a total of $5,250, and I find probable cause.
And we would be asking for count one if it would be possible to do a reduction from the 5,000.
Yeah, I'll reduce it to $2,500.
Thank
I'll
you.
cut it in half. and abide by all trespass orders. Okay, the last person I have is Michelle Lynn Kent. Good morning, Ms. Kent. You're here for a violation of probation. The government has filed an amended probation violation alleging that you failed to report as directed back in February. It's also alleged that you changed your residence without notifying your probation officer. You failed to, hold on, ma'am, just reminding you, all of your statements are being recorded. Let me go through this, and then I'll give you a chance to answer some questions and make a statement if you so choose. It's alleged that you missed your probation appointment in January. You changed your residence. I'm sorry, I'm being repetitive. You didn't call your officer in July. You failed to complete your community service hours as recommended, and you're being held at no bond by Judge Morgan. So again, this is an amended one. Do you want a public defender to help you if you don't have a lawyer already?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, I'm going to go ahead and appoint a public defender. Your lawyer will assist you.
Your Honor, we would be asking for bond in this case. I know Ms. Kent was here yesterday and was released on direct PTR. This case was called back again today. She does have a severe chest cold. Due to the conditions in the jail, I don't think it'd be safe or in her best interest to be incarcerated until being heard in court.
All right. I'm sorry you're not feeling well, but I'm going to go ahead and state the conditions of the arrest warrant, of the VOP warrant. Anything can be modified in the division. Thank you.
Thank you.
Your request is denied. I'm going to go ahead and disconnect from Osceola. Is there anything else? All right, Osceola, thank you. Have a good weekend, and I'll see you tomorrow.
You too. Thank you.
All right, State Defense, you ready on the Orange County cases?
Yes, Your Honor.
Yes, Your Honor.